talk about deep sea with me. Deep sea fish loves you forever, all as you're thinking over. Out of space when someone waits there, sound of jet they played for out. The deep sea fish loves you forever, all as you're thinking over. Out of space when someone waits there, sound of jet they played for out. I'm a thinker, I could break it down. I'm a shooter, a drastic baby. Agitate, jump out, feel it in the will. Can you talk about deep sea with me? I'm a thinker, I could break it down. I'm a shooter, a drastic baby. Agitate, jump out, feel it in the will. Can you talk about deep sea with me? Deep sea fish loves you forever, all as you're thinking over. Out of space when someone waits there, sound of jet they played for out. The deep sea fish loves you forever, all as you're thinking over. Out of space when someone waits there, sound of jet they played for out. Ooh, 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 yeah.
I'm muted. God damn it, I'm an idiot, and I apologize. Alright, so I just went through that whole spiel, and no one could hear me. Oh, I am dumb. Okay, let me try this again. Hello everyone, welcome to Tabletop Tuesday, where I basically teach you, and my friend CandidGamera teaches you, all kinds of tabletop gaming, including Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, World of Darkness, whatever. We got some announcements to make before we get into it. So announcement number one is our sponsors, which is Shock by Gaming servers, linked down below. Servers start at $2.50 in the US dollar, and they go up from there. And we're being raided! Charge! Welcome! Welcome, Raiders. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You just came in for the announcements, and I love you all. Have a wonderful time. Paralyzed Player, how you doing? I don't know if I have a shout-out command yet, so let's try this and see if it works. Yes!
I just got buttons. So to pull the trigger... Hold on,
There you go, man.
Back save. So right here I got...
Alright, the shout-out command works. Awesome. Go check him out. He's great. Raid! Raid! Oh no! Alright, our second sponsor, by the way, I want to get this done and out of the way, is W Energy Drinks. If you use the code RubyMadHatter, you get 10% off your purchases. Their drinks are this little powder stuff that you basically, no caffeine or little caffeine, and then a, tasty energy stuff. I'm going to be trying out in a couple of months. Probably for my stream anniversary, I'm going to try out some stuff and be like, hey, is this any good? But I recommend it. It looks like it. Everything I read, it seems good. Next announcement.
Welcome, traveler.
Welcome, Commander Keen. Oh, I remember that game from back in the day when I was a kid. Welcome to the tavern. Grab yourself a mug of ale. Pull up a chair. Have fun. Don't fireball in my tavern. Same with you, Paralyzed Player. Welcome to the tavern. Pull up a chair. Have fun. Grab a mug of ale. And don't fireball my damn tavern. Our last announcement before we get into... our next announcement before we get into it, because there's two more, my bad, is our art list. Me too. It was my first PC game. I know, it was a fucking amazing game. Actually, let's bring my partner in crime in here, CandidGamera. Let's get him in here as soon as I get myself unmuted. Hey, CandidGamera, you're in.
Hello.
So we got a guy that's named Commander Keen in chat. Do you remember this game?
I do, yeah.
That brings back memories, man. That was a great game. I loved it.
Yeah, I was. It was right in the era when I had first gotten a computer, and so those were fun ones.
Oh yeah, that was a great time. Bullet Fam. Oh, the Bullet Fam. I don't know if I'm part of Bullet Fam, but I am part of Crunk's Corner. So if you're there, I'll give you credit there. It's Blue Nerd. Blue Nerd's here. All right, so the last announcement I wanted to get out of the way, I've told CandidGamera this. We finished the vote for Stellaris Eterna Season 1. So the faction has been selected. And that means next Monday, while me and CandidGamera are playing Broforce. I will be announcing who won. And I'll be doing so with a video that I have made. So it took me 6 hours to edit the damn thing.
Wow.
Yeah, that was fun. Commander King.
Starting early today.
Yeah, starting early. Let's start my fear early today. Let's go. Fuck me. All right. Commander King is way harder than most people remember. That is true. That game is way hard. Oh my god. I remember it kicking my ass as a kid. Good gods. We have the Yeet. Ruby Mad Hair, what's up? Not much. We're about to start teaching people about tabletop gaming and stuff. So, huzzah. The first topic we're going to discuss is a real quick topic. It's basically an update on the 1D&D stuff. Because I got to read some more of the 1D&D stuff, including the newest book. I'm not sure if you got your hands on it, Gamera.
No, I've seen some reactions to it, but I haven't read the material myself.
They definitely empowered certain classes, and thank you, Miss Firefire, for the check-in. I'm down. I'm buying a 5 dice sets to add to my dice tower set I just bought. Awesome, Blue Nerd. They pumped Cleric way up in power. Cleric definitely got a power boost. I will say that from what I read.
Right on.
They also gave racial variance, or sorry, species variance, because that's the new term now, is species, not race.
Yep.
They gave species variance for Goliaths, based on which giant parentage you have.
Neat.
And I love that. It's really cool. It's really neat. Hi, hon. Love you.
So, what bullshit are you dealing with now?
Nothing. We were just talking about D&D shit. Have you? By the way, that's the woman you get a cooking lesson from if we ever get to 20 subs. If we ever get there. I would love to see it, but I'm not going to hold my breath. I love you too.
I'm a smartass.
Yes, she is very smartass. So the new stuff is kind of interesting. They did write in the newer books that the new books override the old books.
Yes.
One of the changes they've made to the fucking my organs.
Yes.
I'm a Red Seal chef. Nice. That's impressive. Red Seal chefs are not easy to become. One of the changes they made, though, was, remember that concern we had about critical roles in the first book?
Sure, yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah, I actually had heard that.
Yeah, it went back to the way we normally do it already.
Excellent.
So spells get it, everything gets it. The only thing I may do as a house rule is...
Welcome, traveler.
The smites may not get it. Welcome, Echo Wavery, to the tavern. Grab yourself a mug of ale, pull up a chair, have fun, and don't fireball my tavern. Miss Fireflyer, thank you for gifting a sub to TTV Agent Harlix. Other mug on.
No, trying to get a hold of it without knocking off your nice mug.
Yeah, my nice mug. Because the handle's falling off, and that pisses me off.
I just need super glue and I can fix it.
My handle's falling off my nice mug. Oh my god, Miss Firefly. I appreciate the sub. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it nonetheless. I always appreciate new subs. And, of course, Blender Fireball's my goddamn tavern. God damn it.
Whoever the chef is cannot judge my cooking lesson because I'm cooking this as a housewife.
Yeah,
And
she never went to culinary school. I went to culinary school. She didn't.
Our friends still say I cook better than you do.
Except when it comes to seafood.
That's questionable sometimes.
I hope one Echo will teach me. I hope one Echo will teach me D&D. One Echo? Who is one Echo? I don't know that. Anyway, so there was an announcement about the OGL, and there were some complaints about it, some misinformation that was given out. One day, I hope one day Echo will teach me D&D. Oh, okay. I hope one day will teach me D&D. All right. Yep. Yeet. So there is some misinformation about the OGL. One, the OGL does not apply to previous versions of D&D. So we do not have to worry about this taking away the option of D&D from other versions. Huzzah.
Yep.
We've discussed this last time ad nauseum. I'm merely repeating it because it's still being stated.
Yeah.
Because people do not understand how legalities work. Second thing that is being stated is often the one D&D OGL will not allow third-party content creators to create at all. This is not true. It's $50,000. If you make $50,000 or more, you have to report you've made that much. If you make more than $750,000, you have to pay a royalty. All right, and there's already hints that Kobold Press and Critical Role are in talks with Wizards of the Coast to get their own special licenses with how popular they are. So we don't have to worry about that. Like, Critical Role is not going to go anywhere. It looks like they're going to work something out, which is a good thing for D&D. Because, honestly, if Wizards lost Critical Role, that would hurt them a lot. And Wizards knows this.
Yeah.
They're not dumb.
Usually.
Usually. They're not dumb. Except when it comes to Magic the Gathering with the 4 booster packs that were $1,000 each. Screw that noise.
God.
That was freaking brain dead.
I'm so glad I quit Magic for the 4th time.
I'm glad I quit it for the 2nd. It's like, screw this. If I wanted to... Hey, Faye, how's it going? I'm surprised he didn't do his little noise. And there's Ein! Ein's here too. Yay! Thank you for the check-in, Ein. Yeah, Wizards lost... Here,
with a sword in one hand and a harp in the other, shouting my greatness from the rooftops,
Slaying
slaying bitches and slaying witches. Or is it
slaying
laying witches and slaying bitches?
bitches?
I can't quite remember. I was too busy giving the tavern owner a reason to stay in business.
You have no idea what you're talking about, but you sound really knowledgeable. Thank you, Miss Fireflyer. We have a lot of experience with D&D, but we also pay attention to the community as much as we can. Because if you don't pay attention, sometimes you'll miss something, and that can really blindside you. And so I try to pay attention to what's going on in the D&D sphere the best I can. If I miss something, usually CandidGamera is pretty good about catching it.
Yeah, and we have different focuses too, so that helps.
Yeah. I focus a lot on the business side, as well as the marketing side, just to see where it's going. So there's that. Echo Waverly, what would you suggest for a beginner D&D player that's trying to find a community? Roll20 is amazing for that, because you're going to be playing online a lot. I'm a bit of a noob, Stu. Would this affect Dimension 20 at all? Technically, yes, this could affect Dimension 20, but I'm fairly certain that if Dimension 20 has any sense of marketing and intelligence, they're already working something out with Wizards.
Yeah, or they're planning to use other games. I mean,
yeah,
they could continue to use 5th edition, for instance.
Yeah, this does not stop anybody from using 5th edition. The new licenses would stop people from using one D&D. So that's the big thing. What's up, brother? How are you doing? I'm doing fine, YKTV. Thank you. Thank you, Burp, for the Chronic Corner check-in. So to answer your question, Echo, I would stick with 5th edition. I would check Roll20. Roll20 is amazing because they also have forums you can go on and say that you're like looking for a game, so on and so forth. That's one method. That's the free method. There is a paid method out there called Play something. Give me a second. Play. What's it? D&D Play Online. Start Playing. It's called Start Playing. And it allows you to get like a group of players, hire a DM, and you could, play that way if you're having trouble finding people. Either option works.
Depending on what kind of area you're in, if you're in like a anywhere near a college town or a city of any size, if you can find a gaming store, they'll often have bulletin boards and things that you can post on. You can talk to the people who work there, see if there are games you can get into. And then there are also Discords. If you find Discords that you like that might be gaming related.
Oh yeah, and so there's plenty of options. And so I would look for that. There's also Adventurers League. That's a good way to get your foot in the door. For Pathfinder, it's called Pathfinder Society. They're basically one-shot adventures, so they're fun to do. Faye Fox says that your faithful bard is here. Yay! We'll have music in our tavern while it's on fire. Because that sounds great. So the other thing with the OGL that a lot of people are worried about is virtual tabletops, which is Roll20, Foundry, whatever. And there goes Squidgy setting fire to the tavern again. God damn it. I'm going to have to literally buy new furniture. D&D Beyond is good for making characters, but it's not necessarily a virtual tabletop on its own. But it is a good step in the right direction. So there is that. D&D is going to be releasing their own virtual tabletop. Now, there is a concern about it being filled with microtransactions, and if I'm going to be brutally honest, I'm right there with them on the microtransaction worry. Especially with how much Hasbro is jumping on Wizards about making profit, because this past year, Wizards lost 60% of their income from the previous year.
Meaning they were down 60% from the previous year's income?
Yes. They were down 60% when they were supposed to be increasing by 50%.
Interesting. I wonder what the drop-off was mainly attributable to.
They're saying the drop-off is mainly attributed to utilization of the D&D marketing, essentially making money off of D&D, and which is not, I would agree, not even remotely close to accurate.
No, that's how you make more money. That's not how you lose money you're already making.
No, they're saying they're not doing it enough.
I understand, but like, what did they make in like 2021? What was the profit breakdown, and what shrank to 2022? Like, was it Pokemon cards? Was it Magic the Gathering? Those are some of their biggest pieces.
One of the big ones was Magic. Magic lost a lot of money this last year.
Okay.
And the $1,000 booster packs were a sign of that, according to marketing people. They were trying to make back their money, and they just couldn't. Hasbro itself lost 40% of their profits from last year to this year. Hasbro itself overall had a 40% loss. Mm-hmm. Yes, Bernard, they own the Pokemon trading card game. That is one of their biggest properties.
Yeah.
It is craziness. Hydrate. Okay. Now, Echo, I got a question. Do you want me to drink some more tea, or do you want me to drink some water? I'll ask you on that, because I have both. I have a nice hot tea here, and I have a big bottle of water. The next thing with the OGL that a lot of people are getting wrong is virtual tabletop. Okay, water it is. They're saying another thing that they lost was with licensing is another thing they stated was a big money loss for them, because they paid so much licensing stuff. I would say, honestly, what happened was they made a buck ton of money during the pandemic, And now we're coming out of the pandemic. People aren't doing their properties as much.
Right, and we're coming off of like everybody doing like G.I. Joe franchise movies and Transformer franchise movies, and so that's Hasbro overall, seeing revenue shrinking because just not as many people licensing their shit.
Dude, we just got raided again. 2 raids today. Holy shit.
Double raids all the way across.
Double raids. All right, Staffy, let's get the shout out done real quick. All right.
We will defeat that Dark Falls together.
And that goes to you, and you,
Yeah,
and
but without
you,
Michael
and
Bay
you,
cranking out
and you,
2
and you.
Transformers movies and a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie every year, they're well, actually, Turtles isn't them, but Transformers and G.I. Joe are.
I just got shocked as well. Thank you, Squidgy, again. Welcome, Raiders, to my channel. My name is Ruby Mad Hatter, and this is Tabletop Tuesday, where we discuss tabletop gaming. We try to educate you guys on various aspects of tabletop gaming with my partner in crime here, CandidGamera. So, welcome. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that could have gone into Hasbro and Wizards losing money, and there's a lot to that.
Well, it's important to distinguish. This isn't them losing money. This is them making less money.
Yeah, making less money. They're still profitable. They're just not as profitable.
Right.
And so it's like, hey guys, it's okay. You're still making money. You're all right.
Their PE ratio is still better than Tesla, I guarantee you.
Fair enough, fair enough. So the next thing about the OGL that a lot of people are losing their minds over is virtual tabletops. Shoot fly. When we playing D&D? Oh, jeez. One of these days I might try to play D&D on Tabletop Tuesday. That could be kind of entertaining. I would have to find a group to do it. That might be something to consider. I know that Gamera would have to consider that as well.
Yeah, depends on the the time commitment, how long we're expecting to run, that sort of thing.
Oh yeah. With the OGL though, a lot of people were worried about virtual tabletops not being able to access 1D&D. And one channel in particular that brought this up was called, I think, Discourse Minis and Dungeons and Discourse. And they were really harping on it. They're like, this is what's going to happen. We're going to like see this, and all Roll20 is going to get screwed. Foundry's going to get screwed. And I'm like, this doesn't sound right. So I looked into it. There was an announcement by Wizards saying the new OGL does not affect the new virtual tabletops. So basically, Roll20 will have access to 1D&D. Foundry, everybody will. That like limiting access to 1D&D would be a death knell for it.
Yeah, you want to spread that around, especially as you're introducing a new edition.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, the marketing always keeps saying 1D&D is not a new edition. 1D&D is not a new edition.
It is.
It is bullcrap. From all of us who have been playing D&D for years, we recognize the signs. This is a new edition.
Now it's a light touch change edition, like 3 to 3.5.
Yeah,
but it's an edition.
It's an edition change. I would call this 5.5.
Yeah.
That is a fair assessment. So there is that. Let me click on the MechWarrior game because I was supposed to be playing that in the background while we're talking, and I got distracted. But that's okay. So one of the things we were going to discuss today, I would like to burn down your tavern in game. Oh my god. I feel like Listening Fae Fox would burn down every tavern. I feel like that's going to be a thing. And there goes the tavern again, on fire. Alright.
Burn, baby, burn.
Burn, baby, burn. So, the title today was called Comparing the Editions. So,
yes.
What we're going to do is, we made a comment last week, which was along the lines of, some people say that 3.5 is better than Pathfinder, and both me and Gamera said, people are entitled to their opinion, even if that opinion is wrong.
Yep.
And it's one of the few times we've made that comment.
Yeah.
Because we usually don't knock someone for their opinions. Alright, we try not to. But this is one of those times where we're going to basically look at the person and go, maybe we should have a discussion.
Yeah, and let me be clear. If someone prefers to play 3.5 over Pathfinder, I'm not going to dump their books, stuff them in a locker, and call them a nerd. That's fine. You do you. But I think, as we will cover, the argument that Pathfinder is better than 3.5 isn't just opinion. It's like, I mean, you can argue it, but you have to really kind of stretch to see like 3.5 being better than Pathfinder.
Yeah, it's a big stretch.
Yeah, I mean, if you like having less stuff, sure.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. All right, so 3.5, all right, which is 3035. All right, we are not going to discuss first edition. We're not going to discuss AD&D or second edition because good luck finding those books.
Yeah, I mean, I could. I started playing in second edition.
Same here. I was a second ed kid, but I feel that most people are going to experience 3.5 onward. So the systems we're going to discuss are going to be 3.5, 4th edition, Pathfinder, 1st edition, 5th ed, and what little I know of Pathfinder 2nd edition.
Yeah,
all right?
and I might bring in a little bit of 3.0 just because it's relevant to the comparison I like to make between Pathfinder and 3.5.
Which is fair. Burn down all the taverns. Oh god, no more taverns. This is why we need like level 20 adventurers and taverns. Oh my god. Alright, so let's talk about 3.5. 3.5, there are some advantages and disadvantages to 3.5. Alright? The advantage of 3.5 is there's the ability to do almost anything. There is so many, what's the word I'm looking for? Supplement books.
Oh, yeah.
Supplement books. There's so many options. You can do all kinds of crazy kooky stuff. And it involves a lot of the base stuff you would see in D&D in a digestible level. There is a lot of complexity to the game, but there is enough simplicity to it that you could pick it up.
Yeah, the way I like to talk about 3 and 3.5 and Pathfinder are like Lego blocks. You essentially can stack levels from different classes and options in different ways, which is really cool. It allows you to custom build things, but it does produce kind of a complex set of options. But, like I said, it's really nice to be able to go, oh, you know what? I want to build a guy who's a little bit of a wizard, a little bit of a rogue, and really, 3rd edition was the first edition that let you do that effectively. So I was really, really happy with it when it first came out. Like I said, I started in 2nd edition, and usually people will say, oh, your favorite D&D is the one you had when you were a kid.
No.
Fuck that.
No, I never want to play 2nd ed again.
Literally. It is my least favorite version of D&D now. I'd honestly rather play 1st edition because at least 1st edition's kind of weird and interesting.
I'd rather play 4th edition than play 2nd ed.
Yeah, and 4th edition has the tactical depth of a thimble.
Yeah, it's like...
It's better than 2nd edition, which has all the worst features of 1st edition. And, I'm not going to rant too long because we don't need to go into that, but basically, yeah, 3.0 turned everything on its head when it came to player options. They basically said, oh, you want to be a cool guy who does all these things? You couldn't do that before, but we're going to let you. You just pick and choose which classes you want, put your character together, and, Godspeed.
And there were so many options, too. Like, there were some books that were designed for DMs only. There were some books that were designed for players. There were books that were class-specific, like Tome of Blood, which was the sorcerers and wizards. Yep. Sword and Fist, which was like fighters and monks.
Yep.
Addy Bear, showing some Smurf love. Thank you for that Smurf check-in. I appreciate that. So there were all kinds of neat stuff. And there were so many races.
Yes.
Like, you could do almost anything you wanted within reason.
Yeah, and then they would release things like it was Savage Species, I think, was the 3.5 one, but basically build your own race stuff, which was
or take monster races and put levels on them, so you didn't get a level adjustment just for being the monster.
right. Right, yeah, that way you could, I want to play a dragon. Okay, well, cool. Here's what you'll have starting out, but you can earn your other dragon abilities as you level.
Yeah, my personal favorite was Troll.
Sure.
Because, like, the early levels of Troll gave you just enough to, like, feel like you're a troll without being overpowered.
Yeah.
And that's what made it beautiful. It was balanced.
Yeah.
And that was kind of fun. Now, with that being said, there are some problems with 3.5. All right? The big problems, in my opinion, are the feats and the skills.
I was going to also say skills. There was one other problem that I will mention that we'll hopefully get to discuss.
Oh my god.
Classes.
Prestige class. We'll get to Prestige class in a minute. I just got raided with another 17 viewers.
Triple raid?
Goddamn! A triple raid, man! Thank you, Addy Bear, for the raid, and thank you for trusting me with your viewers. I appreciate it. Oh, looks like zombies. Oh boy. 3 in less than an hour. I know. What is with the raids? It's finally great to put a face to a name. Yes, thank you. I love everybody being here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Ruby Mad Hatter. I am here to teach you today about tabletop gaming with the assistance of my partner in crime, CandidGamera.
Hello.
All right. I've been a DM since 2001. I think you've been a DM in the 90s?
Yeah. I'm old.
Yeah, we're both old. I started D&D late.
Yeah, I think I will say that I started in the early 90s, like right around 90, maybe 89 with some superhero stuff.
Oh my
god. I know I got into D&D around 90.
I see. I got into D&D at 94, and that's when I was a player.
Yep.
And I was a DM in 2001. This is when I picked up the DMG and finally DM'd a game. Badly, mind you, but I did it. I think everybody's first game is always bad.
I mean, yeah, bad in different ways.
Yeah, we all learn.
Some horrible things that I pulled in my games.
Yep. So welcome everyone. I appreciate you being here. Check it out. I played Robotech RP in the 90s. Wow, that brings back memories.
Oh, hey, yeah, Robotech. That was one of the Palladium systems.
Mm-hmm. Gundam eventually used the Palladium system too later on. Yeah, the early Gundam RPG.
Ah, I don't think I've ever played that one, since that would be the Japanese one, right?
Yep, Japanese. It was pre-Wing. That was before Gundam Wing came out.
Yeah. Now I'm familiar with Mechton, which was almost an official Western Gundam game, but they ultimately were not able to get the license.
I was born in the 90s. I didn't play any of these. Don't feel so bad. My wife was born in 90 as well. So, it's okay. You can start later. You can always pick up these books and check them out. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. That's the beauty of tabletop RPGs. You don't have to have some kooky old video game system to play them. It's a bloody book and a pencil and sometimes some dice. I played Warhammer 40k. Does that count? Yes, that is a tabletop game. Both
Sure.
me and Gamera played 40k. 80s baby, LOL. Yes, I'm an 80s child. Yay.
I am technically a 70s baby.
He's 70s baby. And and imagination. Imagination helps. I will say that myself, when I play 40k, I am a dirty, plasma spamming communist smurf shit. AKA the Tau.
Yep.
Join the greater good. We have cookies. And tea. Gamera here is our Imperial guy.
Yes, I mostly play Imperial factions, though there is one exception.
Yeah, orcs. Orcs. I fucking love orcs.
They're just fun guys.
You can't be a salty bitch and be an orc player. Because, like, when you go to play orcs, you go in knowing that you are relying wholeheartedly on die rolls.
Working, RN Jesus.
RN Jesus. RN Jesus, lead the way. Showing some love from Smurf Village. I'm going to lurk while I work. Have a great stream. Thank you, Sneaky Big Tatos. I appreciate the lurk. Lurks are always welcome here. We were talking about 3.5 though. So let's.
So yeah, you mentioned feats and skills. I will second skills, and I will also add prestige classes as a problem element.
I will let you cover the prestige classes because I have my own view on that. But I'll also add another one to prestige classes afterwards.
Okay.
Overpowered classes. Because there are some classes in 3.5 that are insanely overpowered. My dad was born in 75. My stepmom was born in 74. Damn. All right, so let's cover. I was gonna say let's cover them in order, shall we? Feats. In 3.5, you only get a feat every 3 levels. You only have 20 levels, which means 6 feats. That's it.
Plus a first level feat if you're human.
Yep, if you're human, you get an extra feat at first level. So a grand total of 7 feats unless you play fighter.
Right, in which case you can get some like fighter specific feats, which are cool.
Yeah, and it's a total of 13 feats for fighter.
So yeah, I mean, feats are a great option that really originate with 3.0. Love them, but as you're saying, you don't get to pick very many of them. I don't think I know a single 3.0 or 3.5 campaign that didn't basically say, you know what, I'm going to give you extra feats.
Yeah, every campaign I was ever in gave me extra feats.
I mean, the rule is it's fun making choices.
Yeah, and you don't get a lot of choices. And that's the thing. Glistening Fake, I was born in 2000. Oh, I feel old.
Use us while we wither into dust.
Like, I'm going to be like that guy from friggin' Indiana Jones who drank the wrong cup. I chose poorly. Another problem with feats, though, is a lot of feats in 3.5 were chained. They were a tree. You had to go from the first feat to the second to the third to the fourth. Like, you had to have all the feats in that chain in order to take the one at the bottom. And some of the ones in the chain were not that good.
Yeah, you would occasionally have to pay, like, a feat tax. And, you know, to be fair, Pathfinder hasn't completely eliminated that, but they've eased up on it a good bit.
Oh, yeah. They certainly have. 5th Ed has definitely eased up on it, which helps.
I think the feat chains also weren't helped by the fact that, again, you got so few feats. Like, if you were going to take a feat chain, that's maybe all or at least half of the picks you'll ever make.
Yeah. And some feats were really good. Some feats were absolute garbage. Most of the feats were kind of meh.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you want some feats that are cool and situational. You want some feats that are, you know, just generically useful. But you want a reason for people to take most any of them in some situation.
Oh, yeah. Then we have skills. Now, my problem with skills is that there weren't any useless skills. It was how class skills and cross-class skills worked.
Yes.
Because in 3.5, you would get a list of class skills from your class. All right?
Yes.
And every time you spent a point in them, you would get a point in that skill.
Yep.
Which is like, okay, that's not bad. And then you had the cross-class skills, which was every time you spent a point in a cross-class skill, you would get half a point in that skill.
Yep.
Which was worthless.
Yeah.
It was so annoying.
And I was just discussing this with a mutual friend of ours the other day. It was for each level you got. Like if you said, well, this level I'm taking in Paladin, well, congratulations. Any skill points you spend on things that are with your, old base class, well, unless they're a Paladin skill 2, they're now cross-class, and they're going to cost you 2 for 1. And you're subject to the level caps, which means you might not be able to put any points in at all.
Yeah.
Because you were limited in cross-class skills to a number of ranks equal to, it was half your level, right? Half your level plus 3?
Half your level plus 3, I believe. I think that's correct.
Because your class skills were limited to level plus 3.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we haven't mentioned in this, but that was kind of a silly, was you had to multiply your starting skill points at first level by 4, because they wanted you to start with 4 ranks in your relevant class skills.
Yep.
That's fucking dumb.
Yeah, it was so annoying. It was just like, oh my god, what the hell?
And believe me, I understand why they did it. I understand it's basically a first draft idea, but they carried it over to 3.5 relatively unchained. I think they collapsed a couple of the skills in 3.5, like a little bit of condensing, but it was still super frustrating. And then Pathfinder comes along with the perfect cut of the Gordian knot of skills. And
yeah,
I mean, if you're ready for me to go into that, I will happily go into that.
I was gonna say, let's cover Pathfinder when we get to Pathfinder. We're gonna cover the upside.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Okay, I just didn't know if you wanted to go aspect by aspect or game by game.
I was gonna say, let's go game by game.
Okay.
All right. So the skills were problematic in that regard. So with that being said, let's cover prestige classes like you wanted to do, because that's a big one.
One more thing about skills. If you've got extra skill points from a high intelligence bonus. God help you if your intelligence bonus ever changes. Not so bad for a player character who usually goes up one level at a time, but if you're a GM trying to make like an NPC, like a high level, he's got a few levels of bard, but mostly wizard, you have to know when his intelligence increased, because that depends on how you calculate his skill points.
Yep. And that was a pain in the ass for making NPCs. Yep. Oh my god.
Yeah, anyway, prestige classes.
Prestige
Sorry,
classes.
I still get angry thinking about the skill stuff.
Oh yeah, I do too. It's one of the things why, like, some people are like, 3.5 is better than Pathfinder, and I look at them like, are you on drugs?
Yeah. You're either a masochist or you haven't played Pathfinder. So yes, prestige classes. Prestige classes are an implementation of something that goes back to the 2nd edition days, and actually, arguably, even to 1st edition, you had something similar. And the idea behind them is basically, I want to make a fighter who's not like a normal fighter with the normal fighter assumptions. I want to make a fighter who's like a swashbuckler fighter. And that's cool. You should be able to do that. And the different editions have solved that problem in different ways. And in first edition, you had some subclasses, like Paladin started life as a Cavalier subclass. In 2nd edition, you had kits, which were essentially like archetypes or subclasses. But 3rd edition had prestige classes. So if you wanted to be a swashbuckler, you would take the duelist prestige class. Great. The problem is that prestige classes were all over the map. Some of them were great, some of them were shit, some of them were 5 levels, some of them were 10 levels, some of them were 7 levels. And if you're a fighter, they were usually okay. They didn't break up your advancement too much, because you really only depend on base attack bonus
and feats.
Gear and feats. But if you were a spellcaster, holy shit.
Yeah,
if you were lucky, your prestige class said gain +1 level in spellcasting in whatever class that you originally had. But not all of them did that, and that was kind of a janky way to fix it to begin with.
There's also the other problem with prestige classes.
Oh?
The requirements.
Yes. the requirements. Basically they wanted to make sure you couldn't leap into them at first level, so they'd set minimum skill rank requirements or certain feats, which again forced you into certain choices. But it's sort of gated them. So I think most prestige classes you couldn't get into until level 5 was the design rule of thumb. And I guess that's okay. But it was kind of weird. It's like, okay, I'm a fighter. Okay, now I'm a duelist. Before now, I couldn't do this swashbuckler shit. All of a sudden, now I can.
I figured it out. But the big thing was, like, all the classes in 3.5 are very cookie cutter. Especially if you're going for particular prestige classes. Because you had to have particular feats and particular skills. And and that forced your choices to get to a certain area.
Absolutely.
And that is a major problem I have with 3.5 to date. Is like, hi, you don't get to choose what your character basically advances as because you want to take this prestige class.
Right. You've essentially decided what you want at 6th level, so you have no choices that you can make until 6th level.
So you can't adjust to the campaign at all.
Right.
It's just like, oof.
Super frustrating. Like I said, I love the idea of prestige classes. I love the idea of kits and subclasses and archetypes. It's a thing that I think is healthy and necessary for these games to have. I just think that prestige classes was a bad implementation of it.
Yeah, it was a very bad implementation of it. So I'll say that, hands down. What's another good...
You said you had another thing other than prestige classes to talk about?
Yes, overpowered classes. That's
overpowered classes.
All right. So there are some things I'm going to pull up in particular, and these are problematic classes. Some of them are well designed for DMs, for NPCs. Others should just outright never be allowed in D&D ever, period, end of discussion.
How quickly are you going to talk about the Artificer?
We're going to cover that real quick. That is one of the more overpowered ones.
Yep.
Because if the main limiter on Artificer is time.
Yep.
That is the biggest thing. Because a lot of people are like, oh, what about money? Or, nope. No. They can infinitely print money.
Yep.
If you take the right feats from the book that Artificer is in,
yep,
you can literally print money for free.
It's so broken, so ridiculous.
Especially if you build
Welcome, traveler.
dedicated rights. Thank you, Curie Gaming, for joining the tavern. Grab yourself a mug of ale, pull up a chair, have fun. Don't fireball my tavern. But yeah, Artifice, Glistening Faith Ox. Oh, thanks. What's good? How's it going? It's going all right. Everything's going well. We're educating people on stuff, on tabletop stuff. So huzzah! I don't have enough double heat sinks. All right. So yeah, Artificers. If you built something called a dedicated right, you could hands down take on anything.
Yeah.
You could build so much shit so fast, it would blow your damn mind.
Yeah, the in 3.5, I mean, to be fair, let me be absolutely fair to 3.5. It looked at some of the worst abuses in 3.0 and said, we're going to fix those. Because I had a character that you could build in 3.0 that had an AC in the triple digits, and I couldn't do that anymore in 3.5. And kudos for them for eliminating that loophole. They fixed like the balance on the heal and harm spells, great. But then they introduced shit like the Artificer and just broke the game all over again.
Tabletop stuff, does it pertain to the game? To tabletop gaming, yes. Not this game in particular. I play this game in the background so that people are entertained with visual aspects while we have our discussion.
Yeah.
So that way you are visually entertained while we auditorily educate you. So fun times. What was I going to say? Alright. So yeah, Artificer can be very broken. Very, very, very broken. Like I said, especially with the dedicated rights. Those things are horrific. I do not understand how that got past anything, but it did.
Really cool.
Yeah. So there is that. The next thing I wanted to discuss, because like I said, that's the biggest problem with Artificer. It's just they will break your game magic item-wise.
Yeah.
And that's horrifying. The next class I wanted to discuss was from, or in particular, 2 books in particular. I wouldn't call them classes, but books in particular. The Book of Exalted Deeds and the Book of Vile Darkness.
Yeah, fair.
These are alignment books. What alignment books are, like, good, evil, good, neutral, evil, lawful, neutral, chaotic, alright? They made books for the good and the evil alignment. They realized how freaking screwed up they did, and they were planning on making a book for the lawful and the chaotic alignment, and they never released it because they realized how screwed up they did with the good and the evil.
Yeah, again, good concept, unbalanced execution.
They are great books for the DM.
Sure.
Hands down. You can make some amazing villains and NPCs to run around in your game for your players to interact with these books. I would never allow a player to use them. I had a DM that let me use them once, and I made a Exalted Paladin, which was the prestige class he took was Fist of Raziel. So,
okay.
You remember in 3.5, you were not allowed to crit on Smite? On
right.
Smite Evil? Fist of Raziel says you can crit on Smite.
Yeah.
And that hurts. And then on top of it, your Smites can now do AoE damage.
Mm-hmm.
Your Smites can get automatic confirming.
Yeah.
And you can also smite with ranged attacks. I had an Artificer Wizard friend. Oh boy. So yeah, Fist of Raziel was broken. It also increased the smite damage. I believe it was a D6, if memory serves.
I don't recall.
It was either a D6 or D8. And Fist of Raziel increased it to a D8 or D10. It increased it by 1 damage die. Which also is insane.
Yeah.
So, as this character, a paladin, I was a human paladin. No crazy race, no crazy stats. Like, my high stat was literally strength at 18, and my charisma was a 16. Alright?
Mm-hmm.
Which is respectable, but not broken. Alright? I did over 120 damage at level 12 to a green dragon by smiting it.
Yeah.
It was, boom, dead. It was just, the DM just blinked. It was like, that was supposed to be a challenge for more than like 2 rounds, and you just one-shotted it.
Uh-huh.
It's like, that's why it's broken. And Vile Darkness has equally broken shit. Like, there's a magical enchantment in the Book of Vile Darkness that every time you crit with your weapon, you do your weapon's magic modifier up to +5 in con damage.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Nope. Nope.
It was called marrow crushing. It had to be on a blunt weapon.
Okay.
That doesn't. No, still no. It's like, fuck that. Then there was the book that I have outright banned. Alright? Because if you combine this book with Sword and Fist, you make a broken character that cannot be stopped.
Okay.
And this book is called The Tome of Battle, or otherwise known as The Book of 9 Swords.
Yeah. I thought we were going to get to that.
Oh yeah, we're going to get to that. So there's a class in the Book of 9 Swords called the Sword Sage, which allows you to get maneuvers. Maneuvers are martial spells that don't get affected by things that affect spells. Whether it's anti-magic field, dispel magic, whatever.
Yep.
If that doesn't sound broken enough to you, we're about to make it a lot worse for you. And I mean a lot worse. You take the feat Disruptive from Sword and Fist. What that means is spellcasters, when they're inside your threatened range, are not allowed to make a defensive casting roll. Period.
Yeah.
Like killing 2 beholders in 3 turns? No, we're about to describe like the bullshit this class pulls. Alright? This is an example. Listening. It's horrifying. So, you now have whatever your threatened range is. If a caster is within it, you're going to get to hit them. Alright? Then you take a couple feats from Book of Nine Swords. You take a feat that allows you to use a maneuver in replace of an attack.
Yep.
Then you take another feat that lets you do 2 maneuvers whenever you use one. Now you take the following 2 maneuvers. Teleporting Strike and Adamantite Strike. Teleporting Strike basically says, as per the spell, teleport, but it's a quickened action. You see the problem here.
Yeah.
What's the range of teleport?
Hundreds of miles, I think.
Yeah. And then now it's a quickened teleport you get to use, alright, as a maneuver. And then Adamantite Strike says that whenever you hit an enemy, you get 1 attack that turn. That attack does 200 points of damage and counts as if it was a +5 adamantite weapon.
Yeah.
For that 1 hit. Alright? Which means it ignores all damage reduction. Alright?
Except, like, Epic, I think.
Except for Epic, yeah.
But player characters generally aren't going to have that.
Yeah. 1, players' characters aren't going to have that. And 2, most monsters aren't going to have that. So this means, in combination with Disruptive...
Welcome, traveler.
Thank you, DTMF Chum, for joining the tavern. Grab yourself a mug of ale, pull up a chair, have fun. Don't fireball my damn tavern. When you combine that with Disruptive, you now have your threat range as your entire sight range, and you get a free 200 HP attack to any target who attempts to cast a spell within your range. And Squidgy just fireballed the tavern. You see the problem.
Yeah.
It's casters in 3-5 have a D4 for their hit die. There's no way they're having 200 HP.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a thing. Here to lurk from the Smurf Village. Hey, chum, I appreciate any lurks. Lurks are totally acceptable. I take lurks. So, there is that. All in all, it is horrifying, to say the
Book of
least.
Nine Swords is special kind of stupid.
I think, honestly, it was made because Wizards wanted 3-5 gone.
I mean, indirectly, yes, but also no, I think. It was a prototype because they were working on 4th edition.
Yeah.
And they were like, we need to test out some of the ideas, and one of the core ideas of 4th edition is everybody has magic powers. I mean, they may not be flavored as magic, but everybody essentially can do maneuvers or cast abilities that essentially play out as if they were magic. And the Book of Nine Swords was, in essence, the prototype of that. I don't think they were purposefully trying to kill off 3.5, but they were like, let's go ahead and beta test some of this shit that we're getting ready to do.
Yeah.
And it was not great.
Yeah, it was a disaster.
Notably, it is the only 3.5 book that I have ever owned that I have parted with.
Yeah. I have a PDF of it, and it is in my folder of banned books. And it is one of, and the folder for banned books is not system specific. So there are only 3 books in that folder, and it is one of the 3. That is telling you something. That of all the systems I have, all the experience I have, only 3 books made it into there, and that is one of them. Now, mind you, with 3.5, there is also some kooky stuff that is entertaining, to say the least.
Yeah.
Like the Book of Erotic Fantasy.
Ah, the classic.
The classic weird book. Now, there is something from that book I do take, and I've used it in every version of D&D I've ever played. The breeding chart. Like, what can crossbreed with what?
Yeah.
Now, I don't consider that a hard, fast rule. I'd be like, if it says yes, it's more likely to happen. If it says no, it's less likely to happen, with a few exceptions, like Fiend and Celestial is just a hard no. We are not having Nephilim shit here. None of that nonsense. Though I will say, if someone wants to do the love child of Crawley and Aziraphale, I think it was his name.
Aziraphale, yeah.
Aziraphale, I'd probably okay that, just for kicks. Because their characters are just way too entertaining.
The breeding chart is interesting, though. Circling back to 1D&D for a second, interestingly, that's no longer necessary because the official stance is that anything can breed with anything, and it gives you guidelines on how to make a crossbreed.
Yep, which is neat, and I like that.
Yes.
That's well done. And let's be brutally honest, that needed to happen. Though for me, as a DM, I would say certain groups could not breed with certain groups. Like I said, the angels and the celestials and demons or devils, they're just so diametrically opposed, I would not allow it. Same thing with anything that is from a lawful plane versus a chaotic plane. Planar entities just don't mix. Bards and dragons, oh my god. Daddy? Ah! Oh no. Oh my god, so many bards. Hey, by the way, glistening Fey Fox, make a Constitution saving throw. So that's mostly the issues I have with 3.5. Alright. There are a lot of interesting things about it. Like, there are some really good supplement books. Like, the Draconomicon is beautiful. The class books have some really cool, neat ideas, including some class ideas like in Sword and Fist, there's the Lasher. If you ever want to be like a whip guy, it's a neat class. I would totally port it over to the Pathfinder with little difficulty. It has some neat stuff to it.
Absolutely.
Mind you, if I did the Lasher, though, I'd make it an archetype and not a prestige class. So it would take a little bit of work, but I could see it happening. There are some things. Another really great supplement book from 3.5 is The Stronghold Builder's Guide.
Classic.
It's classic. It gives you some really cool trap stuff, some cool, unique things you can make your walls out of. So, definitely, it's a book I would pick up. At least the PDF version, at least. If you can't find a physical copy.
And yeah, let me be clear. I'm not slagging on 3.5. It did a lot of stuff that was really cool, and it set the groundwork for a lot of what Pathfinder does really, really well. So, very, very happy to have had 3.5.
Dirty 20. Oh, yeah, Dirty 20. Okay, you live. You get to live. What is here, by the way? Anything cool? Some atlases. I mean, I could use some atlases, but they're rare. Battle Masters. Okay, so there's some cool mechs here. With that being said, let us discuss 4th edition, because I want to discuss Pathfinder after 4th edition, so people understand why Pathfinder came into existence.
Yeah.
Because that's important. Alright, so 3.5 happened. D&D is on this massive high. Like Wizards is just like, we have done amazing. Our property has grown immensely. It's not as big as like it is now, like in 5th Ed, but it's still bigger than it ever was. It's becoming more well known. So they go, let's release 4th edition. And what can we put into 4th edition that'll make us grow better? Well, one of the things they realized is, hey, what's popular right now? MMOs are popular. World of Warcraft's popular. Let's emulate that.
Yeah.
And, oh my god, did that go badly.
Yeah, they basically, they looked at the success of games like World of Warcraft, and they said, you know, maybe this is the next big thing, this video gamification. We can use these kind of concepts, bring in a lot of these kids that are mainly playing video games and get them involved in our tabletop game. And what they failed to realize is, by doing that, they had to strip D&D of a lot of what made it interesting to players in the first place.
Yeah.
One of the biggest points that people talked about with 4th edition after it came out was that the Dungeon Master's Guide for 4th edition gave you instructions on how to run a game without a Dungeon Master.
Which is a problem.
Which, I mean, it's basically, it indicates to me the mindset that they were going for. It's like, oh, they really just want to turn this into a full computer game and start charging people for it at some point. That is the end game.
Oh, yeah.
And it, you know, turned people off because that's not what people want from D&D.
There's another thing that turned off a lot of players from D&D. In 3.5, your books, you had a player's handbook, a DMG, and a monster manual. That's all you needed to play the game. And hell, you could get away with not even a monster manual.
Yeah.
Because the monster manual helped a lot, but you could make up your own monsters. There were rules to make monsters in the DMG. So you only needed 2 books at the least, but 3 was suggested, and honestly, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Every book in 3.5 was about $30, at most $40. All right, that was their big cost, about $30 to $40. So you're, let's say, $40 just to be on the safe end. All right. You with me so far?
Yeah.
All right. So that's $120 to play the game. But that's spread over at least 5 people. All right?
Right, yeah. Your GM needed all 3 of those books. As players, you didn't necessarily need to have any personal copy.
Right, but also at the same time, groups sometimes all chipped in to help the DM get the books.
Sure.
All right? Let's assume that at the base level. All right? So let me look up my calculator, please, because I need this. So it's 120 divided by 5. So you're looking at $24 per player. And DM. That's not bad.
Mm-hmm. No.
It's about the same you would pay, like, that's way less than you would pay for a video game. Even at that time.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, cool, Bob's your uncle. Here's the problem with 4th edition. There were 3 players' handbooks. There were 2 DMGs. And there were 5 monster manuals.
I mean, to be fair, 3.5 did end up having multiple monster manuals.
This is true, but here I'm talking about the core books, what you needed to play. Because 4th edition made all of these books required to play. Because the base classes were split between all of the players' handbooks. All the DMG information you needed was split between the 2 DMGs. All the monsters were alphabetically split between the 5 monster manuals.
I don't think that last one's correct.
Or it may not be completely, but I remember most of the monster manuals, you needed at least 5 monster manuals.
Well, they saved some of the more popular monsters for later monster manuals intentionally to make you want to buy them.
Yeah.
But they weren't alphabetically split.
Yeah. But they were split between 5 monster manuals. I remember that much.
Yeah, I think I ended up buying 2 or 3 of the 4th edition monster manuals.
Yeah. Each book in 4th edition was $50. Each one. If you bought it brand new, $50. All right? So, split between your group, which is 5 people, you're paying $100 a person. That turned off so many players.
Yep.
It was just like, nah, fuck this, I'm done. Then there was the treachery early game for 4th Ed as well, where they're like, hey, we have this cool, character builder that came with the player's handbook. You remember the little CD?
Yep.
All right. That worked for what, 6 months?
I guess.
I want to say it was about 6 months. And then they went, oh yeah, by the way, that's no longer supported. It's no longer going to work. You have to use our online service, which, by the way, pay us $15 a month.
Yeah.
That also turned off a lot of players. They were like, fuck this noise.
Yeah, I think the 3rd edition player's handbook, like 3.0, came with a character creator CD-ROM.
Mm-hmm. And it was free the whole time. They never
Yeah.
messed with it. They never did. Now, mind you, you didn't get all the crazy stuff with it.
No, you didn't get to add in the later stuff, but...
But if you wanted to build a base character, it was perfectly fine. It worked just A-okay. But my God, 4th edition, it was like $100 a player, minimum. And that really made people unhappy.
Well, and I think you could play without all the players' handbooks in both DMGs. I certainly remember I bought a lot of them. Like, you're right that the core classes were split between PHP 1 and 2. But PHP 3 mostly had stuff that was new-ish. I think there might have been, like, the Monk or something that made it to 3.
Yeah, Monk was in 3. I remember Monk was in 3.
Like, when they introduced the Seeker and things like that, it was like, okay, this is actual new content. So, really, if you were happy playing the classes in PHP 1, you didn't have to buy 2 and 3, but someone in your group was going to want to play one of the classes out of 2 and 3.
Yeah, it was inevitable. Another thing that they really pushed was their new adventure worlds. So, like, in 4th edition, in 3.5 we had Greyhawk, which was the big one. Faerun was another big one.
Yeah.
And those were the big ones. In 4th edition, the big world they heavily pushed was Eberron. Man, they pushed Eberron like no man's business.
I hate Eberron.
Eberron is interesting, but I don't like playing in the world. It's got way too many issues that need to be addressed.
I'm just still bitter that Keith Baker beat me out in that design a setting contest. Because you remember, Eberron was designed from a contest.
Yeah.
I entered that contest, and actually my idea wasn't that dissimilar from Eberron.
Go figure.
I'm just still salty.
That's fair. That's fair, dude. That's fair. But in 4th Ed, they pushed Eberron really hard, and not for the better. Because sometimes some settings do really well when they're well explored, and some settings need the mystery. And I'm going to be brutally honest, Eberron needed the mystery. Because, oh boy, did it not do well when you start exploring the nooks and crannies. Like, oh my god. There were like so many little details that they just missed that could have really used a little bit more fine-tuning. And it just did not play nice. But that's just kind of my personal opinion about Eberron.
Sure.
It is what it is. 4th Ed, another problem with 4th Ed is... Oh, AP's here! AP! Hey, AP. AP, you missed 3 raids. We had 3 raids in, like, practically a row. It was wild.
Triple raid.
Yeah, it was just like... We were wondering if the raids were ever going to stop. It was like, damn, dude. The other problem I had with 4th Ed was not all classes were created equal. Which is true in almost every...
With a sword in one hand and a harp in the other, shouting my greatness from the rooftops,
Yeah, it's true in almost every edition, but it was weird in 4th edition because they tried so hard to make everybody identical. Because all the classes were very samey, but yeah, you're right, some of them worked better than others.
Yeah, and they tried to quantify every class in a role. Yep. Like, they said, like, fighters were tanks, rogues were strikers, wizards were controllers.
Yep.
Which, like, that's weird. They took away a lot of their damage output and gave them just more crowd control shit. Which was like, that feels weird.
And you had leaders, I think.
Yeah, which were bards. Yeah, the charisma characters.
Bards and marshals, and I forget what the other one ended up being.
I don't remember. I don't remember much of 4th Ed because I tried to forget it.
I played in 2 4th edition campaigns for a decent amount of time.
I played in 1 4th Ed game, and then I kind of watched a second. Like, I was just, like, sitting in watching a DM play a second one.
Yeah.
And just to see, like, my thought was, okay, I played in a 4th Ed game, maybe I just had a shitty DM.
Right.
So I was like, I'll at least watch this one and see if that's the case. And no, it was not the case. It was very much, the system is poo-poo. So there is that. So you understand that, like, 4th Ed had a lot of problems. 4th Ed went bad. So why did I want to talk about Pathfinder afterwards? Well, now you understand the background. Now you're going to understand why Pathfinder succeeded so well as it did.
Yeah, because Paizo originally was a company making content for 3rd edition.
Yep, 3rd and 3.5.
Listen.
Yes.
Oh God, hey, listen. Squidgy says, hey, listen. Yeah, it was awesome. Since I have so many people here and APs here, we're going to have the announcement next Monday while we're playing Broforce about which faction won Stellaris Eterna Season 1. Like, which faction I'm going to be playing. So I'm going to be showing a video for that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be some point at that stream. Whenever we get an opportune moment for it. Because I don't want to pick a time and then we're in the middle of, like, a round. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that would just be messed up. Bugger. Let's see. Okay, so let's talk about Pathfinder. Now, I do want to state this. Like, no system is perfect. And with that being said, let us discuss some of the downsides of Pathfinder. What is one of the big downsides of Pathfinder? Analysis paralysis.
Sure.
There is so many things you can do in Pathfinder with so many options. Players can, especially newer players, can easily get overwhelmed.
Yes, and honestly, let me back up for just a second. The reason why a lot of us like Pathfinder is because of all these options. And to go back to my little analogy, 3.0 was like a Lego set that had 1,000 pieces and was really cool. 3.5 was like that same 1,000-piece Lego set, but now you got 1,000 new pieces. And Pathfinder's that same Lego set, except you got 10,000 more new pieces. It is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So many options.
And you get them all from level 1. A lot of them.
Right.
And that is one of the cool things about it, is you get so many cool options. And I don't know how to describe it other than that. It's like it's options upon options upon options.
Yeah, and honestly, the one thing that I might accept from somebody without comment saying, "Oh, I don't like Pathfinder because it's too much," that's fair. If you don't feel like you're able to pay attention to all the little nooks and crannies, that's fair. But at the same time, it's like I said, you're saying this 2,000 piece Lego set is better than the 12,000 piece Lego set that has all the same pieces if you want to use those same pieces. That doesn't make sense just from set theory.
Yeah.
Everything in 3.5 is usable in Pathfinder because 3.5 and Pathfinder are on the same game engine.
Thank you, Icha Modev TV. I'm messing it up. I'm sorry. Thank you for the check-in. Hey, came with the Smurf with Stacky Raid. Oh, I appreciate that, dude.
And just, yeah, you have so many options. It's crazy. And you know what? If that's too many, great. But like I said, you can't objectively go, well, 3.5 is better. How?
Yeah. Explain
Literally
to me.
everything it has, Pathfinder also has, because Pathfinder, as many people have referred to it, is effectively D&D 3.75.
Yeah, and for good reason. I will say that. So let's talk about some of the things that Pathfinder has that makes it really good. One of the things optionally I love about it is the archetypes.
Yes, so that gets into my discussion about prestige classes and what's a good implementation. Archetypes, I think, are the best form of, hey, let's make a fighter, but not like a normal fighter. It's just, you get, your archetype kicks in usually at level 1 or 2, so you're already flavoring your class right out the gate. That's fantastic. D&D subclasses in 5th edition, I think you usually kick in around 3rd, though there are some exceptions. Again, that's a good early thing. Prestige classes didn't kick in until 5. So Pathfinder lets you be your swashbuckler right out the gate.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Great
game decision.
I was going to say, yeah, one D&D is 3rd level for everything.
Yeah, and 3rd level's okay. I think, honestly, 1st level is superior, but at least it's not 5th level, because that feels late.
Yeah, that does feel a little late to start getting some of your cool, neat tricks. So, I will say that. Oh, no way.
You got something going on?
Yeah, I just realized there's a big, heavy guy coming at me, so I'll send my guys to go deal with that, and I'll deal with this lighter guy. So, yeah, that is one option that I love to death, is the archetypes, because it gives you so many good choices there. And there's another thing that I'm going to discuss with 5e later, and that is that it really doesn't encourage you to stick out a class the whole way.
Right.
Pathfinder, on the other hand, encourages you to stick with a class the whole 20 levels. Yeah,
so that's another thing with the prestige class problem is, and the way 3.5 is structured generally, you kind of want to cherry pick. You like, I'm going to take 3 levels of this, a couple levels of this, and you're rewarded for doing so. And you can do that in Pathfinder, but they actually got the idea of like, hey, let's give people reasons to stick in a class for 20 levels. That way, if they don't want to bounce around, then they have a good option, a good reward for sticking with it.
Yeah.
And I will note that, 5th edition uses that same idea with capstone abilities.
Yep. Faye Fox says, why some games start automatically at 3rd level. That's the exact reason. Because you get your customizable cool shit from the get-go. And people want that. Nobody wants to be generic fighter A. They all want to be, hey, I want some of my cool stuff. And that's important. You want that feeling in your game.
Yeah.
Especially if you're dealing with newer players. Because if you're dealing with newer players, oh boy, you need to be able to hook them early and keep them. And the best way to hook them is give them some of the cool shit early on.
Yeah.
And that's what I'd recommend doing. With Pathfinder, you could do it from the first level, and you still get some cool shit. Not a lot of cool shit, but you still get some. Now, not all the archetypes are great. I will say that.
No.
Some archetypes are kind of, and some archetypes are bad, and some are really good. Like when we've discussed classes and so on and so forth.
Sure.
Barbarian's a great example. The Invulnerable Rager is an amazing freaking archetype.
Yep.
But like the one that focuses on wearing armor, not as great.
Yep.
It's like, why would I want to be a fighter with rage when I could just literally take one level of barbarian and then just take fighter? I don't understand.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, why? Why is this a thing?
But, not every archetype is going to be as powerful as others, and I think that's okay, as long as you're covering a range of choices that are at least interesting, if not all balanced.
Yeah.
I like having some weird archetypes that are suboptimal, because they might be better for NPCs.
Oh, yeah.
And it's good to have things like that for NPCs.
Oh, yeah. And that's always the cool thing. Another advantage of Pathfinder is, like 3.5, except they do it better than 3.5. If you want to play something, there's a way to do it in some book somewhere.
Yeah.
Whether it's a class, a race, whatever. There is something they can do. Choosing character for roleplay reasons is valid. Yes. Doing that because of roleplay reasons is valid. That's A-okay. That's fine. You don't have to play the most optimal character all the time.
No, certainly not.
Another advantage of Pathfinder is that you can pull anything from 3.5, like you said earlier, to Pathfinder. There are plenty of ways to do it.
I mean, I would always be careful because of the balance issues in 3.5. But anything that you've looked at and gone, you know what, this is fine. As a GM, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, excuse me. That's always an option, and that's always helpful. Having more options, essentially.
Yeah, and that's really the crux of the Pathfinder is better argument. It's like all the stuff you know from 3.5 is there, and all this other stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't sometimes I don't understand why some people are just like, oh, this has to be better. And I'm like, why? Why does this have to be better?
Some people fear change. I know a lot of people who, when 3rd edition came out, they were like, I'm never going to play 3rd edition. I'm going to play 2nd edition. And I picked it up and I played it and I was like, holy crap, I never want to play 2nd edition again.
Ever again. AP just fireballed the damn tavern.
Because it was just so much better.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's nice to have something that's not such a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes change is good.
Yeah.
Sometimes change helps a lot. But with Pathfinder, the biggest problem with it is there's just too, like the Lego analogy, you have too many pieces.
Yeah, and if, like I said, if you're a person who feels overwhelmed, I get that. I know a lot of people who feel like they go into Pathfinder, they're like, I'm not really an optimizer, all these choices, I don't know if I'm making a bad one. My advice to those people is don't worry about what's optimal, play what's interesting to you. If you really feel like, oh, I'm in danger of letting down the team, just ask somebody else who, is more of an optimizer at heart to say, if something is a good choice or a bad choice, and then you can work with them and let them help you, optimize a little bit if you want.
Thank you, Big Fat Krell, for joining the tavern. Grab yourself a mug of ale, pull up a chair, have fun. Don't fireball my damn tavern. Like, Glistening Fate Fox and AP seem to keep doing with the assistance of Squidgy. And there goes Squidgy. See, Squidgy had to get his freaking fire. All of you want to light my shit on fire. You're all fucking pyromaniacs.
Not to be outdone.
Oh, no.
No.
Okay. So that's Pathfinder. Fucking...
Excellent.
Ah, damn it. I will master my fear one day.
So before we move on from Pathfinder, let's talk about feats and skills here too.
Because that's important. Yep.
And one other thing that I think is an important aspect of the change. So let's talk about feats. Bottom line, you get more. Chains are less of a thing. And generally speaking, they've done a better job at making the feats interesting. It's pretty straightforward. It's a marginal improvement, but I think it important.
Yeah.
The other thing about prestige classes that I did want to mention is one of the things that I think 3rd and 3.5 were afraid to do, and they very rarely did, was create new base classes. There are some, to be sure, the Artificer being one.
And the Dragon Shaman, I think.
Yeah, and there are some scattered through different books. I think the Miniatures Handbook has a couple, but there are far fewer of them than you'd think.
Yeah. Most of the time, if you're looking for something in 3.5, it's a prestige class.
Right, but Pathfinder blew the doors off. They're like, you know what? There's no reason why we can't make more base classes. So if we want something that's a bigger change than we can do with just like an archetype, we'll just make a new base class.
And oh my god, are there so many base classes?
And they're good. I love the Oracle. The Oracle is amazing. It's a design space that 3 and 3.5 had completely failed to explore. But yeah, there it is in Pathfinder.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's another good side effect from getting away from the idea of prestige classes for everything. But the most important change is, to me, the skills. Because in Pathfinder, you don't multiply your starting skills by 4. You don't do half ranks in your cross-class skills. You get the same number of skill points at level 1 as you do at any other level. Any intelligence bonus skill points you get from an increased intelligence are retroactive. And most importantly, to simulate being better in your class skills, if something's a class skill for you, you get a +3 bonus to it.
And that's it.
That's it. It's elegant. It's simple. It's straightforward. It's what D&D designers should have come up with, and probably would have given time, but Pathfinder is the one that nailed it.
Yep.
And that's just the best way to do that. You end up with a +4 bonus, absent your ability score bonus, in any class skill, and you end up with a +1 bonus in any cross-class skill, so to speak. And that works. You get your bonuses in about the same levels, and everything is simple math. You don't have to multiply by 4 at first level. If your intelligence goes up, then you get retroactive skill points, so it's easy to make high-level NPCs. This is how you do it.
Yep. It's better. It makes things easier. I mean, shit, man, Bob's your uncle on that one.
Yeah, so that's that is probably the single biggest thing that I'm happy about in Pathfinder compared to 3.5. That skill change.
The second thing I would say, feats.
Yeah.
You get way more of them.
Yeah, feats at every odd level. Great idea.
Yeah. Because at that point, you are going to be doing fine. You'll rarely run into something where you'll have a lack of feats.
Yeah, you end up having more, and it's just, nice to have. You have more choices to make.
And a lot more customization.
A lot more customization.
And that helps a lot.
It does. I mean, that's honestly one of my favorite parts about D&D. Twisting all the little dials and flipping the switches to make my character the way I want to make my character.
Yeah. And let's be brutally honest, that sometimes is difficult for some people, but it's helpful, man.
Yeah.
Feats are definitely an improvement. The archetypes were definitely an improvement. The skills, like you said, were definitely an improvement. Now,
I do say it's kind of amusing that in Pathfinder, you do technically still have prestige classes, because in the Game Mastery Guide, they reprint the core ones. And
I didn't cry out that time.
They reprint the core ones, and that's great. And then they never printed another prestige class for the entire duration of Pathfinder 1E.
Yeah.
Yes, we're giving you these. Enjoy them. You can still use any of the ones from the old edition if you like. We're done. And I love that. And I will be honest, in all the years I've run Pathfinder, I've used exactly one prestige class that isn't better filled by some class archetype.
Okay, which prestige class? I gotta hear this.
It is the Mystic Theurge.
Yep, that's the same one I pick. There's nothing else in there that makes that I can't fill with an archetype.
Yes, and basically that's because in the game that I was running when I converted to Pathfinder from 3.5, there was an NPC who was both a cleric and wizard and master level at both, and rather than make him a 34th level character, I was like, if I do Mystic Theurge, I can make him 24th level, and so he is within the realms of possibility. In case they decide to pick a fight with him, they might actually be able to kick his ass.
Yep.
So Mystic Theurge was the one that filled a niche that isn't otherwise filled.
Yeah. Otherwise, I don't see any other classes that fit. If that makes sense. Like none of the other archetypes really, like the prestige classes can't be filled with an archetype.
Yeah, most prestige classes I think are better done with classes and archetypes.
Yep. And this is very true. Other fun thing about Pathfinder is magical items. They did balance it a little better, but at the same time not. You have way more options, but that also gives you more options to break things.
Fair.
I do like the fact that they made magical items that combine all of the stat increases. That is helpful, but at the same time, I can see that being problematic.
Yeah. I mean, I think you had some of those in 3.5.
Yeah, but they were all physicals.
Yes.
They really favored the physical increases and not the mental.
They did.
And that was a problem.
And Pathfinder basically just said, let's let wizards play too.
Yeah. And that's a good thing. The other thing I would like to state, though, with Pathfinder is the monsters can be a bit easier to take down as a player. That's both good and bad. It depends on the type of campaign you're running.
I hadn't really noticed that the monsters are any easier to take down. How do you mean?
players have more options. They have better damage output.
Oh, I mean, sure.
And so it makes it easier to deal with some of the monsters. The damage reduction capabilities in 3.5 have been definitely retooled in a better way, which I forgot to mention that. In 3.5, the damage reduction was you have to have a very precise material or you can't hurt the monster.
To be fair, they had made some changes from 3.0 that made it less painful. And Pathfinder just sort of continued that trajectory, which was good.
Yeah. Oh, shit. I'm standing still while there's freaking artillery raining on my ass.
Yeah, maybe don't do that.
Yeah, I shouldn't do that, no. God damn, I'm gonna get... Is it even damaging me? Like, I just took an artillery hit and my armor didn't even blink. Maybe I'm a heavy enough mech where the artillery's just like, nope. That's weird. Oh, enemies in range. What do I got? Okay. What else is there that could be kind of neat to discuss? Pathfinder definitely opened up the door for more non-traditional options for solving problems. Which that helped a lot.
Yeah.
I was starting to cough and then someone did the damn face hugger. Which hurt. Still here, got home from Taekwondo. Nice. My wife used to do Taekwondo burp. Yeah, I forget what belt she was, but I think brown. Okay, I'm getting tired of all these enemies in my space. By the time I'm done...
Motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane?
Really? It hit... All of my missiles hit the wall. Didn't go over the wall, just immediately hit it. There we go. Can I start capture? There we go. Capture 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, here we go.
But yeah,
I think that's mostly what we can cover in Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Now we...
And...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, and now we move on to 5th edition?
Yep, 5th edition. Alright, now I will say this. 5th edition is not bad. I would heavily recommend it for new players.
I mean, I like what they've done with 5th edition. I'm a 5th edition booster. It is my second favorite fantasy RPG behind Pathfinder 1st edition.
Yeah.
They've taken a lot of style from older editions. They've taken a lot of lessons learned from Pathfinder and even 4th edition, and they've combined it into an interesting, fairly lightweight, easy to teach RPG system.
Yeah, that's why I say it's very newbie friendly. I would very recommend it for newer players.
Yeah.
With that being said, let's discuss the upsides and the downsides. Hey, Monkey, how's it going? I love my Chaos Instigators. Yes, AP, now you have a whole swarm of them now. I'm doomed. Okay. So let's talk about 5th Ed. 5th Ed, the advantage of 5th Ed, I would say, is not its skills.
Skills are streamlined in 5th edition and perhaps too streamlined.
Yeah, they are not... I'm not a fan of them. I feel like the Pathfinder version was kind of like the nice niche we met for skills. And that 5th Ed definitely toned them a little too down.
That's fair.
And that's the problem. Feats being optional is also not a thing I'm a fan of. Tying the stat bonuses with feats, and you have to choose between one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bad/excellent influence. Oh, God. Of course. We're all doomed. Now, I will say that with 5th Ed, there are some feats that stand out way more than others. And that is both a problem and an advantage. The problem with the feats in 5th Ed is some feats are just naturally way potent. And you have to consider, is this feat worth giving up a +2 or 2+1s in my stats?
Right.
And that discussion happens so often. And that's a problem. The advantage is some of the feats in 5th Ed have some neat, what's the word I'm looking for, aspects to them.
Yes. Yeah.
Like Sentinel's an interesting one.
Sure.
It's a cool ability. It's like, hey, you don't get to move. Previous editions tried doing it, but not to the same extent Sentinel did. Some of the non-combat feats are also kind of interesting, like Chef. That's not terrible. It's kind of weird, but it's neat. I am the local bard around these parts. Oh boy.
Somebody challenging to a bard fight?
I think the Monkey Man is dancing, so it's
okay.
We
dance
might.
Off, bro.
Yeah, dance. Fucking goddamn it!
Did you shorten the interval on that?
No, I think
We're getting a lot of them.
I think literally Squidgy's just sitting there with his finger on the fucking button, waiting for like the timer to go off, and as soon as it goes off, he's like, "Suffer, bitch."
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I'm glad that my suffering entertains you.
It really does.
Oh God. Now, I'm not against the races they picked for 5th Ed. They're not terrible. Some of the additions are kind of neat. Glistening Fae Fox, me too. Like, there's several people just waiting for the button. So I think it's like kind of a contest. I should honestly see if there's some way I could find out who's hit the button the most today. There's got to be a way I could find that out. Gods. So some of the races they added were kind of neat. I like the fact that each race they added, though, brought something to the table. They didn't just add races willy-nilly. Because, like, that was some of the problem with 3.5 and Pathfinder, is some of the races are just too similar.
Fair.
Yeah. And so we're like sitting there going, okay, what's the difference between this race and this race? None. It's like
basically that they came out in different source books and were probably being written by two different people at the same time who had a similar idea and nobody bothered to check.
Yep, pretty much. And it's just like, shit. And that is part of the problem. It's just like, oh boy. Excuse me, goddamn. Getting there choking on my lungs today. Oh, can I please get the last satellite dish? Did I get all the satellite dishes yet? Damn it. Nope. So the fact that each 5th Ed class brings something to the table is very cool, very neat, and I appreciate that. The tools are a neat idea in practice.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they're not utilized nearly as much as they should.
Yeah.
And so I've noticed that.
I think think that's mainly on GM sometime not understanding how to use tools. Because really, you know, if you're going to make your character's tool proficiencies useful, you need to write opportunities to use them into your scenarios.
Yeah. That is very true, and I agree with that. It's partially on the DMs, but I've also played a lot of pre-gen adventures, and I'm going to be brutally honest, the pre-gen adventures don't help.
Okay.
And that's part of the problem.
Fair.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm doing bad here. I might have to reload. Oh, I have no weapons? Oh, shit. What the fuck happened here? Alright, he's gone. Okay. I think I'm fucked. Yeah. Yeah, there I go. Oh. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna reload before I did the mission. Because, oh boy, that was bad. Alright, can't do that one. There's AP.
Somehow that never gets old.
It got done twice. How? I don't know how it got done twice.
Because one of them's a real face hugger. Ah!
Yeah, that's fuck that. Oh man.
It doubled just for AP.
Yeah, double just for AP. God damn it.
All right, let's see.
Alright, where am I going? Because maybe I should just tone that down some. 6, track, view system. Okay, so we're heading there. Oh, that's a ways out. Okay. What level is this? 11. Maybe I should do something a little easier. That's a 12. This is a 12 up here, I think. How about down here? That's a 5. Ooh, that's a little low. It's a 12. That's an 11. That's a 6. 6. 6. Can I get something that isn't like either 6 or 12? Nope. 9. 9 can be doable. 7's also doable. Alright, so I want to be down there. I think AP and I hit the button at the same day. Sound alert system knows I had a brutal day and wants to make me laugh. Yeah, apparently. And it wants to make me suffer. Okay. Hey, I need to sleep so bad. Lurk. Hey, Black Sheep, that's okay, man. Lurk away. We take lurks here. Lurks are acceptable, dude. It's a-okay. Alright, so I need more heat sinks. So I need another heat sink there.
Oh, interesting.
So I think I'll go with that. Because I don't use all my ammo, and 120 should be enough. Chaotic minds think alike. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. You're, like, forming into a hive mind. I'm not sure I should be afraid or not.
Yes, you should be afraid. You should be very afraid.
other fun 5th ed things that I would say in comparison. 5th ed runs a lot smoother.
Yeah.
It's very quick. What else? I'm trying to think. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Oh no. Very, very afraid. Of course. Oh hell, shit. There's Terra. It's a 6. No, I don't want a 14. No, I don't want that. That's a 7? I can do a 7 for a while. Make some money. What about you? You're 14? No, I don't want that. But you're 7. I'll go for 9. Because that'll help. I'm honestly trying to think of anything I want to say else about 5th ed.
I mean, it's just a great option in general. Like I said, I think Wizards saw what happened with Pathfinder, and they're like, and this is actually something, a little trivia fact that I'm always happy to note. D&D has historically been the most popular tabletop RPG. In the 4th edition versus Pathfinder era, that was not the case.
Yeah.
Pathfinder outsold Dungeons and Dragons because they decided, like so many companies do, we know what the market wants. We're going to guide the market to essentially give us what we want. Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo have all been guilty of this, and basically they're just like, nope. Publishers say we're done with that. And so yeah, Pathfinder kicked D&D's ass
during
because of
4th ed.
Because of how misguided this was.
Yep. That's it. I'm summoning the guards. Calling the guards on all you.
Let's see. I need a box.
Oh my god. Yeah, Atlas. So it seems like D&D has finally narrowed it down fairly well. My one concern with 1 D&D is less with its system. We've kind of discussed this a little bit early on, but we are covering 1 D&D as part of the edition discussion.
Sure.
1 D&D is definitely looking at some interesting ideas. I wouldn't call them bad ideas. Like, the biggest bad idea they had was the critical roles not applying to spellcasters.
Yeah.
Like, I felt that was kind of shit.
Fair.
But they've subsequently fixed that, so that's good. Not having ASMR in there, but having Tiefling in there, I also thought was a problem. They had the Ardling, but the Ardling was weird.
Yep.
ASMR was way better. And I'm glad they put that back in there. It seems like they are definitely paying attention to what the players are saying. The biggest concern I have is possible microtransactions and how they're going to market this. Because if Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro, their parent company, are not careful about what they do, they could easily tank all of the goodwill, all of this ability that they've done with 5th ed. And we could see another resurgence of Paizo hard.
Sure.
I roll persuasion to tell the guards I mean no harm. Okay. Have fun with that. I hope you like oil.
Yeah, turns out they're very persuadable, but
Jenkins. Oh god. I can't. That just popped in my head. I was like, I cannot believe my brain just thought that. I come in peace, chaotic peace, but peace nonetheless. So what you're saying is you're an agent of chaos. That makes you a heretic. Heretics burn. Now, giving expertise to every expertise class is kind of a neat idea. I don't hate the idea. Breaking down the classes into their most basic form. Categories like, I forget what the categories were called. I have the books. Give me a second.
Priests, experts, warriors, that kind of thing?
Yeah. Yeah, that stuff. Because I got all of the books so far. And don't get me wrong, that's not a terrible idea. My only concern was that it gives me 4th edition vibes again.
I mean, fair. But those categories have existed in D&D before, and the categories themselves aren't necessarily a problem.
True, and I would agree with you. It's just my concern with that is just how it's implemented, not that it exists. Yeah, experts, mages, priests, warlocks. Artificer is also an expert.
Yes.
So that's interesting to say the least. I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about it, but I want to at least give them the benefit of the doubt. That's kind of my thing. But I am a little concerned about the class grouping. But the class grouping does help in another method, and XP to level 3 brought this up, and I agree with it wholeheartedly. It makes making new classes easier.
Yep.
Because you make magical items for the class groups. And ergo, you don't need special items for each class. And that helps a lot.
Yep.
So that is a kind of a neat idea. And if they keep it to that kind of a thing, I'm okay with that. My worry is, like I said, with 4th Ed, where the class groups were forcing you into a role. Like, your wizard couldn't really dish out that much damage anymore. They were all about control. And I didn't like that. 36 in persuasion. Awesome. Faye, you're going to be cleaning oil out of your hair and off your skin for the next week. I am not going to say why all that oil's on your body, but I will let you use your imagination. You're a bard. I'm sure you can come up with something entertaining. So there is that. I like the new bardic inspiration. That was a great choice. That it's a reaction now. The Song of Restoration is kind of cool. I like that. Not sure if you saw that.
I did.
All right. So you just haven't seen the newest one.
Yeah, I mean, that's correct.
Okay. So the newest one, Cleric. Let me pull that up. We'll pull up display capture, turn off game capture. There we go. So this is the newest one. You won't be able to read it because it's too small, but I'll at least show it. Once again, they have the class groups, the features, all that jazz. Oh, excuse me. So they don't get their clerics don't get their subclasses until level 3. So you don't get your cool, neat power.
Right.
All clerics get channeled divinity in different ways now. There's 2 that they always get now. It's turn undead is one. Every cleric has turn undead. The other one is magic, divine spark. As a magic action, you point your holy symbol to another creature within 30 feet, divine energy, and roll a number of d8s equal to your proficiency bonus, and add the rolls together. You can either restore that many hit points, or force the creature to make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, they take that much radiant damage. So it lets you basically do either heal or inflict at range, 30-foot range, every time you use it, and it's a choice.
Yeah.
Which is kind of neat. Clerics are a prepared spell class, which they were before, so nothing new there. What else is there? They get Smite Undead.
Welcome, traveler.
Thank you, Ichimodev TV. Sorry. Welcome to the tavern. Grab yourself a mug of ale, pull up a chair, have fun, and don't fireball my damn tavern. Here, gotta restart my computer real quick. Hey, no problem, man. They get a holy order, so they get to choose a kind of like a subclass within a subclass. So Protector makes them a battle cleric. Scholar makes them a caster cleric. Like they're a knowledge cleric. And Thaumaturge is more of like, I'm gonna focus on my divine spell shit.
Right.
So neat shit there. And it evolves as you go, essentially. You get Divine Intervention, Greater Divine Intervention, and then at 20th level, everybody gets an Epic Boom. And then they have the cleric subclasses. Life Domain is the only one they have in the book so far, but they did state they're gonna have others.
Yeah.
They brought back the Ardling in this book, and they discussed the options for Ardling, which was you have an animal ancestry, which is a climber, a flyer, a racer, or a swimmer. Now, the flyer, you don't fly. Thank the gods for that.
Yeah.
You said covered in oil? Yes. You are covered in oil.
But you were very persuasive.
You're very persuasive. It's not burning oil. It is the body lotion oil.
The glistening kind.
Yeah, the glistening kind. Yeah, I agree. Kinky. Yep. They basically give you feather fall if you're a flyer, which is kind of neat. They have Dragonborn in here. The Goliath thing is in here. Didn't crawl out. I did it. I'm improving. I've heard it so many goddamn times today that I'm slowly adapting.
Hey, maybe that desensitization is actually working. You just have to play it constantly.
Constantly. Like fucking... Like, hi, here's torture for the next 3 hours. Have fun. Son of a bitch. So the Goliath got their ancestry. They have Cloud Giant as a bonus action. You can magically teleport to 30 feet to any unoccupied space you can see. Fire Giant, when you hit a target with an attack roll and deal damage to it, you can also deal 1d10 fire damage to that target. Frost Chill, whenever you hit a target with an attack roll, deal damage, 1d6 cold damage, and reduce its speed by 10. Hills Tumble, whenever you hit a large or smaller creature with an attack roll and deal damage to it, you knock it prone. That's brutal. I would like them to rewrite that one.
You think it's a little too good?
It's a little too good. Like, the fire damage is not bad. The ice damage is not bad at all. But knocking something prone with every attack is insane. Hopefully your in-person players don't set their notification on their phone to facehugger. I will stab you all.
That's brilliant. And evil.
That's the evilest thing I've ever heard. Oh, God. Give me a second.
Let's see. My melons are outproducing my pumpkins slightly.
There you go.
Classic.
Yep. Classic. Stone Giant is still the same. Stone's Endurance. Storm Thunder, whenever you take damage from a creature within 60 feet of you, you can use your reaction to do 1d8 thunder damage to the creature. Essentially Hellish Rebuke with lightning.
Yeah.
Then they have large form. At 5th level, starting at 5th level, you can use a bonus action to change your size to large. And it lasts 10 minutes or until you end it as a bonus action. During the duration, you have advantage on strength checks. Your speed increases by 10 feet. Once you use this trait, you cannot use it again until a long rest.
Very cool.
Powerful build, you have advantage on saving throw to end grapple condition. Your size category larger, once again, da-da-da-da-da. And then there's a bunch of feats that they talked about in here, and glossaries of abilities that they wanted to cover.
Yeah.
And they changed some schools of some spells. And in some cases, it's better. Squidgy, you've given me an idea. Remind me if I ever meet Ruby in real life to set my phone ringtone notifications to face hugger squid. AP, you're making me not want to do that. Oh my god, that is horrifying. That is horrifying. Oh. People are fucking evil.
Yes, they are, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, of course you encourage them. Alright, so let me get some announcements out of the way before we figure out who we're going to raid, because it's a little after 9.
Yeah.
Alright, so once again, next Monday is Broforce. We're going to be playing some Broforce. And I'll be announcing who the faction I'm going to be playing for Stellaris Eterna Season 1. Alright? I'll be showing off a video that will be showing off what the faction is. So there is that. Sorry, my nose itches all of a sudden. So that is to be taken care of. My notification is Glaceon's Cry. Ah, that's neat. Next week, we'll come up with another topic. I think we pretty much covered this one fairly well.
Yeah.
If I was gonna say if there's any new D&D news, we may cover that. Because we tend to do that, at least cover it some.
Yep.
Let's see who's on. God dang. You all hate me. You all hate me so much.
Listening Fave Fox, you should know by now that right at the end of the stream is when I do that to him.
Alright, let's see what we got here. We got some RimWorld, we have some Fall Guys, Stardew Valley, Sims 4, Elden Ring, that's Phil Motter, Dapper Dame's doing Cult of the Lamb, Thorge Stadsbod's doing God of War, lots of Fortnite.
I have the sense that a fireball is incoming.
I have a sense as to. I think my tavern's going to be well burnt to the ground by the time I'm done. We also have Minecraft as well, so lots of options there. What should I pick? What should I pick? Real Edmontman. Oh, let's see. Let's see. Tempted to do Thor Dadbot, but I've rated him a lot. I know that. There's also Miner's Mom who, is playing Minecraft.
Right on.
We could be down for that. Let's see what they're up to. My neck still hurts.
I think I'm going to have to take out this slime island near the garden because even though I blocked off the entire liquid slime pool, it is still spawning slimes.
Waiting for the ad to go away before I get too far into it. Asexual pirates are not interested in your booty. Siren singing to the asexual pirate. Can you not? Alright. Oh, it looks like there are 2 people playing it. Cool. Alright, so we're gonna raid Minor Mom. So that'll be fun. Alright. So if you are one of my followers, which I know I have quite a few now. My glasses broke. Will not stream for a while. My glasses broke. That sucks, dude. Please use the following raid message. If you are one of my subs, please use the following raid message when we raid Minor Mom. Because we're going to show her some love. So, hopefully we'll see you guys all Monday for Broforce. And, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and, yeah, I will also be there.
Yep, CandidGamera will be there. Blind as a bat. Alright, so I'll see you all then. Make sure you're taking care of yourselves mentally and physically, because that's always important. It is always time for tea in my tavern. And you guys have a great week. I will see you all Monday. Toodles.
Toodles.